What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Trouble's Champions League Winners and Losers, where we pick our winners and losers from this week's Champions League action. My name is Louie.
I'm Alan.
And before we get into this week's episode, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit that like button, you hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to leave your winners and losers in the comments below, and we'll feature you in our next episode.
So guys, let's get right into it. Our first winner, Louie and I, are both ready for it. You can tell we're wearing the Manchester United jerseys. So as you can expect, this week's biggest winner is Manchester freaking United. Finally, Louie, in what has seemed to be like a decade, United have gotten a big result on a Champions League night against the Juventus side that has yet to lose, after this game, have yet to lose in any competitive match so far. This is the first time that an English team has beaten them in their new stadium. It is also the first time that they have lost to an English team in the last 15 years, having lost to Manchester United in that previous game. So in terms of grandeur and how important this game was for Manchester United, it is huge. We now sit second in the group. So phenomenal result all around for Manchester United.
This will be our fourth episode of the show. We have pretty much called Manchester United losers every single episode of this show, if I can recall correctly. So it gives me so much joy to stand up here and just hear you talk so glowingly about Manchester United, and I'm just so happy. This is what Manchester United need. After the first game at Old Trafford, it was actually a little disheartening to watch them get literally played out of the stadium by a very, very good Juventus team. And I'm like, you know what? Is Manchester United past these other big European giants?
And it felt like a little bit of the United of old, Louie. United playing attacking football. There were some spells where they were put their foot on the pedal. They were attacking, high press. We got some of that old school Mourinho, the guy who's there trying to taunt fans at the end of the game, which I absolutely love. We got the late minute winner, something that Manchester United is known for, made famous. It really brought me back to kind of that United of old, and I know it's something that people always say, oh, we'll never get that back, but it's always nice to get those types of Sir Alex type performances from the Manchester United boys. It was really great, and I just felt good after that match.
My question to you is, does it seem like Jose Mourinho has learned to adapt? Because it seems like from the beginning of the season to this game in particular, over the last couple games, it seems like he's much more willing to experiment and take chances and play the attacking football that he has been criticized for not playing for a very long time. It seems like he is starting to learn how to adapt, in my opinion.
Yeah, so even in the last couple of weeks, he's been coming out in the press conferences and saying that they're adopting a more attacking style. And I think this has come in light of just all the criticism he's received, given the poor start that Manchester United have had in the beginning of the season. He's kind of decided, hey, we need to switch things up a little bit because what was not working before, something's got to change. I think he's fighting a little bit for his career at Manchester United, and because of that, he's having to change tactics, which I think myself, yourself, all the Manchester United fans really appreciate. Seeing that attacking style and coming with that has been the resurgence of Anthony Martial, playing phenomenally, and that's just been exciting overall.
Exactly, and I think that this resurgence over the past couple weeks, yes, I've been very hesitant to call it as such because I know that at any moment it can kind of turn badly, but at the same time, having seen Jose Mourinho throughout his career, especially at Chelsea with both stints, where when he got criticized, he would buckle down and triple down on everything he was doing, and that's what got him fired. And that's what I was worried that he was going to do during that weird period, like about a month and a half, 2 months ago, where it was going to be like, he's going to be stubborn and hard-headed and just going to lose his job, and I was upset about it. But I think this is very weird for him. I think that he's looking at it and going, well, if I'm at Manchester United, where am I going next? What can I possibly do at a different club that, like, this is going to be a bad situation if he was just to leave, and it seems like he really wants to fight for his job versus, you know, the 2 stints at Chelsea towards the end, he was just kind of like, whatever, I'm doing it my way, if you guys dislike it, fire me, and so they did. But it's very good to see that he seems to be adapting and taking on, not that he was never taking it seriously, but it seems like he's just honestly wanting to make it work, and I think that, as a United fan, is probably the most important thing I wanted to see. My final bit on this game is that Juan Mata free kick, oh my God, it was perfect. I genuinely screamed like a little girl and little boy, screamed like a small child when it went in. I'm not trying to be, sexist or anything, but I was so ecstatic. I was bouncing off the walls. I was having the time of my life when that went in because it was inch perfect. It was great. Perfect placement. It was just amazing. I got no other words. It's just
I'm with you on that. I mean, everything we've seen Juan Mata do it before, but to do it on such a big stage is totally different. And I was as ecstatic as you. It was an amazing free kick. Shout out to you, Juan Mata. I love you so much. Besos. But yeah. We're going to keep it in the same game now for this next loser. Our boy, my boy, Cristiano Ronaldo. Listen, guys, we know he's a phenomenal baller. He does whatever he wants when he's on the pitch and he's on form. But I'll tell you what, that celebration came back to bite him in the ass. Scored a beautiful goal. We will not discredit him on that. A perfectly taken finish off of a phenomenal cross. Scores the goal. Whatever. Really nice. What was annoying was seeing him run into the Juventus fans, rip his shirt off, and show off his perfectly sculpted six-pack abs. First of all, I don't want to see that, Ronaldo. I know that you're in shape, and I don't appreciate it. Second of all, to celebrate like that against your old former club, a club that has so many fans that still root for him and cheer for him so much, just a little disrespectful overall. I will say, if they had won the game, I think my views on it would have been a little bit different. It's one of those celebrations where if it works and your team wins, then you kind of just look like a boss. But Ronaldo, you guys lost, so for that, you're getting a big L. Big L.
So, like, don't get me wrong, I want to see Cristiano Ronaldo's abs pretty much as much as everybody else, just not there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, go pose for
your underwear line.
Go pose for the underwear line. I'll love to see it there. Don't do it when you just scored against your former club, you dick. Like, I'm so happy it came back to bite him in the ass, because the first time he scored against Manchester United with Real Madrid, did not celebrate because he was at Old Trafford. It was in front of the Manchester United home support. So I can kind of get why he did celebrate here. Now, couldn't you have celebrated in a different fashion, something that wasn't so obnoxious? Whatever. Came back to bite you in the ass. Sucks to be you. Great finish. Still love you. Nice abs. Moving it along. You might think that this show is very biased, and you wouldn't be necessarily wrong. Our next big winner is Red Star Belgrade. Red Star Belgrade, they absolutely stunned Liverpool to the tune of 2-0 at home in Serbia for their first win in the Champions League in 26 years. They've only ever made it to the qualifying stage of the Champions League, and for the first time in 26 years they get a win, and what a win it was. It was against a Liverpool team that absolutely battered Red Star at Anfield, but this isn't England. This was Serbia, and those fans and that atmosphere and those players proved to Liverpool that they are there to play, and they took the game to Liverpool. They pressed them the whole game. Pavkov scored 2 phenomenal goals. It just seemed like Liverpool didn't show up. It's as if they thought, oh, we're just going to go to Serbia, get a quick little win, and go home. Nope. Red Star came out and they absolutely battered Liverpool on every inch of grass on that field, and their fans were going absolutely mental. And just to keep it in perspective, this is a Liverpool team that is still unbeaten in the league. They're second in the league there in England, and they are a phenomenal team. They're Champions League finalists. They got battered by Red Star Belgrade.
Yeah, Red Star is one of those places where we've talked about it on past episodes of they're a terrifying place to go to and play. And for the first time in this Champions League, they really showed it. They showed it against a big Liverpool team, a star-studded team. But Red Star played as a cohesive unit. They played with some integrity. They played with courage. They wanted to show their fans that they weren't just going to roll over for every team in the Champions League. And we saw it, right? From the stands all the way to the pitch, everyone put out an A+ performance, and it led Red Star to getting the crucial 3 points.
And going forward, this makes this group super interesting. This group is currently being decided by 2 points. First place in Napoli and last place in Red Star. They only separated by 2 points. I think Napoli has 6 points, PSG has 5, Liverpool have 6, and Red Star have 4. So we thought this group was a little bit more clear-cut, but as we're seeing, Red Star is making this group very interesting.
Yeah, and they will continue to make it interesting with those home matches. I think playing away, they're not as terrifying. They don't have that same atmosphere. And not to keep harping on their fans, but their fans really do deserve a lot of credit. Players do not like going away to play against Red Star because of the home support that they have. So to discount them for the rest of the tournament, I think would be very foolish, because as we've seen with Liverpool, that really does play a difference. And it's going to be so interesting to follow this group for the remainder of the games.
So my question is it in any realm of possibility that Red Star sneak into this group and win the second place spot?
Listen, the chance is very, very, very small. I don't want to say that it's impossible, because in the sport of soccer that we love, anything is possible. But I don't see them making it through, given the 3 teams that are in the group with them. But I will say they are going to prove to be a difference maker in the group between those 3 teams. I think that they're going to pull out still an important result against one of these 3 bigger teams that will have the group really shaken up.
I agree with you. I think that is very true. If you had to take 2 out of these 4 teams to advance, what's your pick?
PSG and Liverpool, as much as I hate to say Liverpool, I do think that their squad is good enough to get through, and PSG having a poor run of form, but I think that they're also world-class quality all over the pitch, so I think they'll get through.
What freaks me out about PSG is that they are unbeaten in the French league. They are 12 wins in a row, which, okay, whatever, it's the French league, but at the same time, it's a story of 2 tournaments for them. In the Champions League, they've been like okay at best. So I'll be honest with you, I'm actually favoring Napoli and Liverpool to get out of this group. I think PSG are going to miss out, and it sucks to say, but I don't think PSG will be making it into the knockout stages of this year's tournament.
And the day that happens, you guys can be sure that they will be the biggest losers, not only of the week, but probably of the tournament so far.
And also of the show that we put out that week, so keep an eye out for that. Moving along to our next loser, we have Borussia Dortmund getting beaten in Spain by Atletico Madrid 2-0. While it may seem unfair that we're calling Dortmund losers after the incredible run of form they've had both in the German league and also in the Champions League, and they've just been on fire at every single position, so a loss was coming. At the same time, they're playing the same team that they just battered at home 4-0 2 weeks ago. But it seemed just like a change of scenery really kind of just took away Dortmund's game. It seemed like Atletico Madrid pressed them everywhere. They put a phenomenal Atletico Madrid performance in against Dortmund, and it seemed to have worked out. What was more disappointing, though, is that it didn't seem like Atletico Madrid had their whole squad or their whole full-fit lineup. So it's a little bit worrying if you're Dortmund to have lost to this team, but at the same time, it's not the end of the world. Still, my losers for this week.
Yeah, I will say I think what in my point of view was the most concerning for Dortmund was that Atletico Madrid was all over them. It seemed like the entire game was Atletico Madrid's to take, and Dortmund had no chance throughout the entire match. That's a little bit more concerning for me because given the quality that Dortmund has showed this year, you would think they'd have a little bit more fight in them, but Atletico Madrid kind of really steamrolled them, and the results, the scoreline should have been almost that 4-0 that Dortmund got against them in the first leg. So I think if I'm Dortmund, I take this with a grain of salt. Maybe it was just a bad game in the slew of really good games that they've had. So I don't want to jump the gun, but it was kind of concerning to see how well Atletico Madrid was playing, given that they were down a few key players against this Dortmund team. This next loser is a team that we have touted on this show as being a mercurial team in this Champions League, and that is Lyon. We are giving them the L because they were up 2-0 against Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim got a red card, a player sent off, and the end score was 2-2. Hoffenheim, after being down a man, were able to score 2 goals and get a crucial point against Lyon. Lyon should have had this game in the bag. Fekir, Mendy, each had a handful of chances. They probably could have scored 10 goals between the two of them. Were not able to capitalize on the chances that they had. Because of that, they dropped 2 points in a group with Man City and Hoffenheim, 2 teams that are obviously going to be putting up a fight to fill those top 2 spots in that group. So for Lyon, a big fat L. You really need to pick it up, play consistently week in, week out in this Champions League if you want to progress any further.
Seems like Hoffenheim is Lyon's kryptonite. 2 games, 2 ties, and it just, I don't know. Moving on to our next winner. We have Malcom from Barcelona. The Barcelona winger comes on in his first Champions League game and scores his first Champions League goal after coming on as a substitute in the second half. And my God, what a goal it was. He was covered by both Ivan Perisic and Skriniar, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yet he pulls one move to the right, opens up a tiny bit of space, shoots left, and it was a very well taken goal on his part. And it was really great to see from him because he had a kind of hot and cold start to his Barcelona career. He had an injury that kept him out for a couple games. Then he came into the Copa del Rey and actually didn't really play all that well. So people were kind of a little down on him. And so it was really good to see him come on in the Champions League on the biggest stage at the Giuseppe Meazza in Italy, which is like a cathedral of football. And it's a crazy, terrifying place to play. Yet he comes on, cool as a cucumber, goes, takes his goal. Kudos to you, man. You are our winner for this week.
And speaking of another player who's had a hot and cold start to the season, Jesus. And by Jesus, I mean Gabriel Jesus, Manchester City forward, who this week was able to score a hat-trick against Shakhtar Donetsk. They battered them 6-0. But what was really nice was seeing him, even as a Manchester United fan, I am Brazilian, you are Brazilian, so we do like seeing our Brazilian players prosper a little bit more. He scored a hat-trick in what was a really important game for them to secure three important points. But It's nice to see him get his hat trick because he has had such a bad run of form ever since the World Cup, where he was, I think, the only Brazilian center forward to not score a goal in a World Cup, which in Brazil, that is like a death sentence. It's like the end of your career. But he's been able to overcome that and score a really important hat trick that hopefully will lift his spirits. Hopefully he will not score against Manchester United this coming weekend, and maybe never against Manchester United. But nice to see him perform well, get an important result for his team, and an important 3 points for Manchester City.
Hello, mine. I'm back. And moving along to our final loser of this week, we have Monaco. What is going on with Monaco? They have 1 point in 4 games in their group. They are currently on a streak of 13 winless games. I don't understand. It seems like Monaco aren't getting the memo here. Thierry Henry came back. The Golden Boy had returned home to his childhood club where he was turned into a superstar, and it was supposed to be this fairy tale book thing where he comes in, reinvigorates the side, takes them up to the top of the French league, and it seems like they didn't get the memo. And unfortunately, he is on his 3rd consecutive loss, 5 winless games for Thierry Henry, and it is clearly not good. And what's more shocking about it is that it's not that Monaco is a bad side. The quality they have in players is astounding. They always produce good young talent. They always have a good squad. But for whatever reason, something is going on in Monaco this season that is just, it seems irreparable.
Yeah, shockingly enough, Thierry Henry has even come out and saying that his players just do not want to play, which is terrifying to hear from a manager.
Yeah, like how do you respond to that? How do you continue to coach and manage your players if they don't feel like either you're doing the best job or it's just a very bad situation to be in as a manager? And so for a team that finished 2nd last year in the French league and a team that actually won the French league a couple of years back, this is a very strange turnaround for a team that shouldn't be this bad, regardless of who's at the manager position. And you would think that because of Thierry Henry, it would have reinvigorated these players, but it seems like something is rotten in that dressing room and no one knows. But still doesn't take away from the fact that you are this week's last biggest loser.
So there you are, guys, another episode of Champions League Winners and Losers. As always, let us know your personal winners and losers for this week. Let us know if we missed a winner or loser. We would love to hear your thoughts on that.
If you enjoyed this episode, we would really, really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to the channel, as it helps us grow and it shows that we are doing something right with our lives. It would mean the world to us, and so if you could do that, we would really appreciate it, and we would thank you and be forever grateful. On that note, we will catch you guys next episode. Peace.